All right, guys, Eric's here. We can get going. Eric, we were just waiting on you. Good morning. I always say good morning. It's not necessarily good morning, but it is, I think, everywhere. Happy Sunday. Guys, give me 1 second. I figured rather than us sitting on that loading screen for a while, I will chat while I get this little workbook set up. So bear with me 1 second here. How's everyone doing? I'm going to try to bring the energy today. Also, unrelated to energy, I did adjust audio settings. Everything good? Loud enough, but not overpoweringly loud. Quick sound check. Give me a shout if there's anything weird in the background. I'm too loud, too quiet. Vitaly, good morning. Eric, who's manifesto, mine or Franklin / Jeffy? I'll be honest. I mean, I get lost in the Farsight stuff, and I like, to me, they're the same team, but it's not for me to talk about. But there are elements. I think the nice thing is every piece of criticism that somebody has, there are elements of truth, and there are things that are addressable in it. So I did get a haircut. Yeah, I got a couple of them cut, actually. I got some on this side cut, some on this side, a little bit over here on the back. Good morning, Bruno. Morning, Vitaly. Cider, thank you for the gifted sub. It's too kind, really is. 1 second here. Let me pull that up. Okay, so I'm gonna finish this little setup here. Here, I'll toss this up so you guys can see what I'm doing. But I'm legitimately really excited about this because I think we all have a lot of passion for this game and this project. And I think we see it for what it is as well as what it can be. So what I'm really excited to do today is to channel all of that energy we have, both the positive and some of the negative, and really turn it into something that we as a community can actually drive forward and have all these feelings be, quite productive and constructive. So I'm going to get this workbook set up for us, and we're going to go from there. So, Zara, I agree. MCP is the best. I'll rephrase. MCP could be the best. It's the best to me. It's not the best to everybody, but I think it could be the best. All right, so as you're going to see here, as I'm laying this little workbook out, we're going to start with the positive. I want to take everybody's ideas and the things that they love and the things that, like the things about the game that actually motivated you to be right here, right now versus doing anything else. So I want to start with that stuff, and then we're gonna get into the all right now. Here are the things that they really need to work on. So bear with me. What are some things that we want to see MCP improve in 2022? It's not improve, but MCP doing a substandard job of that we expect them to improve. All right. Right. Anybody have anything good planned for Sunday? I went to bed for the earliest I think I've ever gone to bed last night in about 3 or 4 years because without completely doxing myself, I consider myself to be a pretty big New England Patriots fan. And, well, Bill Belichick has proved yet again that he cannot win without Tom Brady. And I think I shut the game off about a minute to go in the first quarter. So, Robert Kraft, if you're watching, I think you're wrong. Bill Belichick is not an idiot savant. He's just an idiot. Should have never let Brady go. All right, so let's get going. First, let's talk about what we as a community, I guess not we as a community, but each of us individually, what are our favorite elements of MCP, the game? And let's think about like what is it that got you in to start? What is it that continues to draw you back in day after day? And what is it about the existing gameplay that really keeps you excited and motivated for the future? So, Eric, I see passive income. And Eric, anything specifically about that passive income? Because passive income can be generated in a wide variety of manners. What specifically about MCP's passive income model do you like? SimCity nostalgia from Eric. I like it. Let's see here. Vitali. I like the MCP was before all this metaverse hype. They're clever. Okay, I like it. Existed free meta, not riding hype. One of the originals. I love it. Lux code, lots and lots of code. Lux, you mean like that's what you really, really enjoy about the game is like sifting through the contracts and stuff like that, and your ability to do so? Z. You looked at blockchain games a while back. It was the only one that seemed like an already finished concept compared to the others. I like it. 3 years in development. Does not appear to be incomplete project. Okay. Oh, Lux, if your Sunday plans code. Okay, yeah. I feel like that's always your Sunday plan. That's probably your Saturday plan, and your Monday and your Tuesday. Oh, Monday, which is tomorrow. I have no work. This is I love it when I wake up on a weekend and realize I have a long weekend. So yeah, okay. Tally, the microeconomy itself, it can be balanced in some time, but the way we can trade and produce NFTs and have fun using only the smartphone, perfect. Love that, right? That just like I'm gonna call this beautiful microeconomy, fully functional, realistic, interactive, collaborative, and available via mobile. I'm gonna fix this because I don't want this going off the screen. All right. What else here? Good Dr. King. Indeed, Eric. Indeed. The more I read about him, the more I think growing up, we all learn the same things in school. We hear the same things about the same people, and it just kind of gets like rehashed over and over. And unfortunately, you never actually go. I think they don't ever teach you or share like a wide enough view of a person, their philosophies, and um, yeah, I think sometimes the more you dig into some historical figures, the more you learn that makes you think like, ugh, maybe they're not everything that we crack them up to be. But with Dr. King, I think there's a lot of things that it's unfortunate that it took so long for somebody like that to step up and start saying those things, and it's unfortunate that we live in a society that we still have not fully embraced all of those concepts. Has lots of coffee. Focus aid. Okay, now you have my full attention with focus aids. Um, I I I never ever had an issue focusing on stuff until probably about like 3, 4, 5 years ago, and I can say without a doubt that while I did not actually think ADD or ADHD was a real thing up until a couple years ago, I'm diagnosing myself as having some form of that. So I would love anything that you can share about like how you focus. Let me know because I need all of that in my life, all of it. Let's see, Lex. What I like about Mega, it's a caveat. Okay. It is by far the most structured interactive metaverse currently in development. The opportunities there are without measure. But without open development ports like Decentraland and Sandbox, I do believe it is very limited in its scope. Okay, so let's circle back to the second half. We're gonna touch on that. I want to start with your first element, right? So that can come up here. Um, and let's say it's structured, interactive, um, and uh, has ample opportunity for future development. I like it. Okay. I like that, Lux. I don't know what that word means. Nootropic. I don't know what that is, but I'm gonna learn something new today. Um, I'm just gonna we're gonna copy that. We're gonna bring up the old Google machine here for a second. See what Google says. Oh, it's a supplement. Class of substances that can boost brain performance. I think we could all use a little boost in brain performance. They are sometimes called cognition enhancers or memory enhancing substances. That sounds good. Tingling and hyper focus. It's at grocery stores? Hell yeah. I know what I'm doing today. All right. I'm gonna check that out. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Okay, so we definitely have a really, really strong theme right now with what like our common ground is as far as what our favorite elements and features are. It's there's the nostalgia element. It reminds us of something that we played previously and didn't earn money. And if you're like me and probably Eric, you played SimCity for a while, and you probably spent a way more time on it than you probably should have or wanted to, but it was a ton of fun. Um, we also have the element I think Vitalia called out, which was this game's been around for a while, and it's an original idea. Everything about what they have built and what they've been striving to build is because they themselves had the intellectual capacity to dream it up and realize and believe it and want to bring it to life long before Facebook or any kind of metaverse talk, started. So that's definitely important. That shows us and tells us that they are intellectually capable of bringing this game where it needs to and where it should go. They just now need to show us, capabilities in other ways as well. Okay. The notion of you can come drop somebody into the community and the game and they themselves are not going to feel as though the game is incomplete. Are there opportunities? Absolutely. Incomplete? No. You got a beautiful microeconomy, fully functional, it's realistic, it's interactive, it's collaborative, and playable via mobile, although the mobile UI could be substantially better. And then the game itself being structured, interactive, and then to Lux's point, with the appropriate ways of opening the game up or introducing some scalability, there's ample opportunity for future development. Eric likes Cooking Fever. Eric, what is, when you just say Cooking Fever, specifically, like, you mean you like Cooking Fever? All right. Anything else about anyone? So, like, when I think about my favorite elements, it's diverse, multiple / many ways to earn, grow. I also like that it is hyper realistic and allows you to feel like a true entrepreneur. Rip, what's up? What's up? What's up? I'm glad you're here. Ed, thank you for sharing your ideas after the stream yesterday. I really appreciate that, my friend. I really appreciate it. You had a bunch of great stuff. Okay, so hyper realistic. I'm in the same boat where I think that the thing that I love the most is they started with the microeconomy, which allows the game itself to have a super, super rich foundation. They can now do anything that they want because anything tied to the game itself and the gameplay, they have a microeconomy layer in place where all those materials and assets can be created. They don't have to like airdrop random stuff in. We don't have to create something out of nothing. The microeconomy as the precursor to everything is in existence, whereas lots of games actually start in the other way. You go with you can do certain things in the game, and they think about what do you do and how do you interact and move around, and then they try to create this economy. Economy first is important. Whale, bear, shark. What is up? Hi. Oh, Kevin, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be here. What are you doing? Supply chain. Oh, I love that. How driven. How supply chain driven the game and economy are. Love it, Kevin. Love it. Love it. That's perfect. Whale. Thank you. Hey, if you go to the store and you're looking for ways to focus, we learned that nootropics are, according to Lux and Mazair, an excellent way to boost brain performance and focus. Let's see here. Okay, so supply chain, micro economy as a foundation. Now anything can be built on top and add value and demand for entrance into the microeconomy. Love that. Love it. Z, it is weirdly addicting. It really is. Would you say that's what you enjoy about it, is how addicting it is? Or would you say that the all of these elements that we're talking about come together to create a very intriguing, engaging, and somewhat addicting product? Collaboratively competitive. Love it. Love it, Kevin. It's collaboratively competitive. Plenty of ways to play together and establish partnerships, etc. I like that. Zero. What I like about this project and why I'm in is that we don't have to buy Mega to play like in other projects. That's interesting. Okay. Okay. And what's ironic, Zero, is that that thing that you love, that you don't have to purchase Mega in order to play the game or to start the game, is actually ironically one of the reasons why Mega has struggled in some ways. So double-edged sword, right? Okay. Um, don't need to purchase or acquire obscure tokens to play. ETH and or Tron will give you everything you need to play. Because, to Zero's point, you can in fact play this game without ever purchasing Mega. You can just roll through. You buy land with Ethereum or Tron. You buy your materials through the market. You can avoid, if you can avoid the vault, you don't need Mega ever. Okay, and Z, okay, so a little bit of both. I like that. Okay. Eric, I see we feel we have thousands of, okay, I got it. So, passive income in, here's, I'm gonna put a couple words in your mouth. You tell me if you like it. Passive income in an interactive and engaging, or interactive and engaging manners to earn passive income. Right. All right. Ed says, the reason I started looking at the game was because you can earn real money. Yes. Okay. Right. Absolutely. Ways to earn real money and make a living while playing a fun game. Like it. Z, huge factor that drew me in at first was the ability to play with no fees through Tron staking. I like it. So, integration of layer 2 plus gameplay that eliminates or drastically reduces wasted transaction fees. Sweet. Eric, meh? All right, well, you revise that statement for me then. Instead of interacting and engaging ways to earn passive income, you give me a replacement sentence for that. All right, so we have, I mean, this is a solid foundation. Everything that we're saying, I think we're all in agreement. There's nothing about what our favorite elements are that I don't think everybody else feels, which is great, right? That means it's a highly common foundation. What's being created has been created really, really well enough to engage a very, very wide and diverse audience. Yeah, $5 printing machines. What does that mean, Eric? I'm just, they're not $5 printing machines. It's one way to talk about it, but I'm going to create a document that I'm going to share with MCP and with the broader community. Not everybody knows what $5 printing machines means. I gotta translate it. How about this? $5 printing machines that you can create, trade, sell, upgrade. Huh? How about that? Go for it, Lux. I appreciate it, bud. I'll be back. I hope you will. All right. Yeah, well, if they watch the streams, well, Eric, there are 20 people here currently. 20 people here, but about 300 people that are constantly bitching, whining, and complaining in both the Telegram and the Discord. So you tell me. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm gonna... Walker, I'm gonna have meh is gonna become a blocked word. You're lucky. If I knew how to moderate my stream, I'd set up a block for meh, which would inevitably give you the opportunity to just add one H every time I created a new rule for it. Be like, meh. All right. I like this. I think we got a solid start here with our favorite elements. All right, let's talk about the stuff that they're what I would qualify as they're doing good, but they really could be doing a lot better. These are the places where we think there's a great foundation built, and it's not that there's an issue, it's that there's an opportunity. And I'll try to kick things off. It does sound like a sheep, Maz, right? It does. That's actually, you know what, Eric? Whenever you say "man," I'm just gonna in my ear, in my ear, and my mental image here. I'm just gonna picture a sheep entering the chat, going "meh." That's all. It's not a commentary on my translation and articulation of some very very complex or very hyper specific thoughts. It's just gonna be a random sheep that's wandered in. I like that, Zero. Okay, so um, you want to call this the consistent maintenance and updating of a project roadmap. And I think the reason why I would agree that this is something that could go in here, because they actually have done a good job with it up until recently. They've had a roadmap. They've had something that we can refer to. They just have not updated it. There's an argument that can be made that the roadmap itself has been rather unspectacular to the same way that lots of other projects are, but there is a roadmap in place. So I'll give you that one. We'll probably touch on that roadmap and lack of consistency a couple bullets down as well, as far as what we want to see them improve. Z, yeah, Z, I think you're right on that. The bugs that have lingered have been out there for a while, and support for those bugs does not seem to be as apparent. But to your point, overall gameplay and UI issues are down. I guess I can't say that with absolute proof, but anecdotally, that does feel correct. UI improvements and less recurring bugs in most cases. Let's see here. Cider. They need to start making partnerships with other projects and bring companies inside MCP world. Okay, so Cider, would you say that's something that they've been doing a good job with, or that's something that you really want to see them start doing? Because they've had a couple partnerships through the years, but I don't feel like it's anything of substance. Like the CryptoKitties thing a couple years back, this Unstoppable Domains, which I don't think they've actually really. They dropped that line in chat. I don't think. All it says to me, there's no partnership there, nothing of substance yet. Gotcha. Okay, so this would be something. So more of what you're looking for. Okay. So I'm gonna jot this here. What I will do is, as you guys are tossing stuff out, I actually think that a lot of things that are said could apply to one or both of these topics. So I'll just start dropping them in there. But let's avoid what are they doing a substandard job of. So forget about that for now. We're just going to focus on what are they doing a good job with, but could do better, and then specifically what are things you want to see them improve. So like for instance, one place that I bring it down is we'll say ongoing, timely, and communicative bug support and triage. Okay. See here. I like the transaction fees. Absolutely. Managing and minimizing transaction fees, which export value out of ecosystem. Good call. Good call. Lower the fees for transactions, the more money that stays in our pockets, the more that we can do in game. I like that. All right. Reg, let's see here. They should create a smooth onboarding process for newcomers. 1000% agree. So it sounds like for someone like that, we're saying that that would be part of what we want to see them improve, because I don't think we actually feel as though they have a solid one to start with. So let's call this onboarding process for new players. I like it. Partnerships and advertising lacking. Okay. Perfect. So advertising, I think partnerships, I'll just lump this in here. Okay. Digging it. Eric, what are they doing with the vault fees? I think the vault fees, that's supposed to be migrated over to layer 2 as well. Vault and rentals, all layer 2. Yeah, the claim is, I think the claim a citizen on the free citizen on the Ethereum side still takes an Ethereum transaction, right? So it's not free, it's actually like $90. Oh, damn it, this happens all the time. 30 minutes into my stream, my what was piping hot coffee is now just quite cold. Let's see here. Cider, one of the good is that they are open to hear community feedback. They need to continue to be open to the community and work on all the recommendations. I love that, Cider. It's a positive call out, but also rightfully and correctly so, they've got room for improvement there. Listens to community feedback, does not take it personally, which I think is, to their credit, I've never seen them lash out or like any kind of an attitude towards stuff that we share. I mean, they shouldn't in the first place, but there is a level of emotional intelligence there that's important. I take it personally. Appears interested in bringing community ideas to life and owning their own ideas based on community feedback. I'm going to piggyback on that. Bring the community in way earlier in the development process to allow us the opportunity to inform and influence critical gameplay, UI, UX, and mechanical decisions. Oh, Drip, you paid nothing for it? Really? Oh, that's good then. Okay. So it's being mint. Oh, right, because citizens are on layer 2. Right, so that mint process, it mints on Polygon, not on Ethereum. That's okay, that's good. That's good. So that means that once they get rentals on Polygon, Ethereum should be in great shape. Love it. Okay. Let's see here. Pulse, hello. Welcome. Eric, so did the intro yesterday realize how complex the game is to be successful? However, actual gameplay is super easy. Buy a plot, get materials, build building, place citizens in the building. Yeah, it is. Right? Like it could be oversimplified to a very basic infographic. I don't think, yeah, to your point, it's just like while the game and the underlying concepts and mechanics and science is a lot more complex, it's complex because the information is not right there in your face, but the actual ability to play the game, it really actually is just a couple very simple sequential steps. Whale, thank you for the sub, and I actually got a good chuckle out of this. Latest follower, Secret Asian Man 777. I immediately thought of the song Secret Agent Man, and so I started singing along to that. So thank you. Let's see here. Kevin, they seem to be expanding their team but need more devs or devs with specific skills to bring programming forward. I like that. Okay. How about I hesitate to even put this in a good job with. I think what we're talking about, Kevin, is maybe in a roundabout way, effective prioritization of of resources and time, and we'll say personnel, financials. We'll even call this community engagement. Yeah, I don't know, Drip, as far as why it's not there yet. Again, they talked about it, and I think maybe as early as October, November, about what the plans were. They were hazy in their timing. So per usual, they say these are the things we're planning on, but we don't know if they're planning on deploying the next month or the next year. But it was on their docket. Pulse. Okay. Big warning on the main site. Something that says, please first research and ask for help before you buy anything. Mistakes are costly. So let's drop that under some things we want to see them improve, and we'll call this taking fundamental steps to set up community for success and longevity in game. And we can talk more specifics about that in the next topic as we go. I'm sure substandard job, we're gonna have plenty of stuff. I like it. What else are we thinking here? I should probably also take this moment to just remind anybody who is new that I'm not part of the MCP team. Never have been. Probably never will be, because even though I would love to work for them, they don't seem to want me to work for them ever, unfortunately. I would legitimately, with almost a complete degree of certainty, talk to the missus and quit my day job, which would just be absolute insanity, specifically to go and work for Supernova. And obviously divest all my assets in doing so. As a beard? The beard is what prevents them from hiring me? Not presentable? Yeah, Pulse, it's a great, right? The framework, the community support is already there. We just have to make sure that as people come in, and I think the Mega World on-ramp on the UI actually calls out the Discord, which is great. That's finally there. So it's like you sign up to play, and oh, boom, there's the Discord icon. But still, to your point, like, the people are there to help. We just have to shepherd new players and new members of the community into a single place so that we can in turn provide that support. Our cost of mistakes, Eric. Okay, so our cost of mistakes, MCP's problem. People need to take ownership of doing their own research. I agree. I think there's a balance to accountability there, right? I think both parties, players themselves, actually need to be accountable, right? There's any decision you make at your own risk. You need to take responsibility and be accountable for those actions. I think what we're probably saying is MCP could show and take additional pride in the way that they prep a new observer or researcher or player for the game. They have their terms and conditions, which very clearly outline this is a game, not an investment, all that stuff. Totally get it. Check all those legal boxes. But when it comes to somebody having gone through that and says, yes, I accept all risk and responsibility, let's get going, there should be somebody on that team that's saying, you know what? Yeah, I know we're coding away on this stuff, but what's really important, what's more important, that we drop a new special building, or that the 100 people that are going to come through our door over the next 1 to 2 weeks feel as though they're not only are they themselves able to set themselves up for success, but that we have their back in, I guess, like, a meaningful way, and not just lowest common denominator. Hey, here we set up a Discord, we set up a Telegram, they have mods, go for it. Like, there's got to be a little bit more to it than that. if this was me, if this was me and my product, the most important thing that I would have had in place on day one is a community management strategy that would not only focus on helping bring people in and keep them there, but actually just unlock the unbelievable engagement and passion of that community, because then the Discord runs itself. You see us when we get on a roll and we have ideas and we're workshopping stuff, that Discord fills up with ideas and positive vibes and all that stuff. MCP needs to be able to nurture that. They have to come in, prompt us, provide us reasons to come together to talk about it, besides just the same handful of people starting the conversation and then kind of igniting others. Yeah, 0. L2 for the Ethereum side will be awesome. Yeah, Pulse, I don't know if I could ever actually sell 214. Maybe gets placed like in a blind trust. 214 is near and dear. Near and dear, my friend. 0, I like that. We need endpoints for building on top of MCP, which is something that Lux was talking about. So let's drop that here under confirmation and recognition that MCP / Mega World can be a platform built out with endpoints and functionality to enable third-party development and true personalized experiences. Mini games. There you go, Eric. I work mini games in there. It all comes back around. Let's see. Pulsar, call some mistakes. Okay, so they're not, but as a new player, they might not know that the icon is Discord and there's a way to talk with other players since they do not see any way in game. Yeah, Pulse, that's exactly it, right? It's like they take the step, they put the Discord icon there, but why is it not like, why is it not called out? Like there should be, hey, like there's a whole other world out there. Don't play this game like you're an island. If you want to, that's completely fine, but like there are hundreds and thousands of people in the Discord and the Telegram, so you don't have to go it alone. And to Kevin's point, this is collaboratively competitive. So you talking to somebody, they're not going to, like not talk to you. They're going to want to help you because it does benefit them as well. But also you can partner and share ideas and thoughts and stuff in a way that's not going to sacrifice your own competitive or strategic advantage. Eric, yeah, I like that. Improve on, let's, branding and identity. Confusion over MCP versus MW. Who are you? And what are you going to be? Yes. $5 printing machines. Yeah, I put $5 printing machines right up here, Eric, see? Interactive and engaging. Oh, and I'll even put in parentheses here, and innovative. See? There you go. Printing machines is there. Right. Let's see. Yes, 0. We also need in-game chat or a way to communicate directly. So let's drop this. I think there's gonna be some stuff where I'm gonna cushion or generalize the feedback and drop that in improve, but then we can get hyper specific with how we actually want to see that come to life in one of the next topics. So branding and identity, 0, you said essentially focus on enabling collaboration and connectivity in the community to improve player to player trading, partnering, and socializing. Right. Z, that'd be super easy. Baiku. I know I'm probably butchering that pronunciation. Baiku Prepeci. I saw you in Discord. I'm thrilled that you're here. Thank you for joining us. MCP guide should be updated. Yes. Okay, so let's call that official community resources. Refreshed, modernized, and consistently updated to reflect the gameplay and additions in the economy. I love it. Paul says, also, another idea would be to allow everyone to link the Discord name to MCP. Yeah, dude, yes. That's it. Like, for Unstoppable Domains, congratulations. I don't care about literally any of that. Now all they've done is they've just allowed somebody who went out and bought babayetu.nft to now come and play the game and pretend to be me. But to your point, link your Discord name, the Discord integration into the game. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's perfect, Pulse. That is perfect. Let's we're gonna create a new bucket here. Specific wants from the community. And I'm gonna drop that over here. Discord integration into game. I can never remember if it's IE or EG, so just bear with me here. We're just gonna go with EG. For example, player wallet / avatar linked to Discord profile. Pulse, I love that. It's so simple yet brilliant. Let's see here. Yeah, like it definitely is difficult. It is. I hope you'll check out MCP HQ. I'll toss a link to that in here for you. I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to bridge the gap with what they have and what we learn, and put that what we learn on HQ. So in theory, somebody will be able to start up using the MCP guides and resources, and then port over to HQ to kind of supplement and augment that stuff. But to your point, the guide needs to be a little bit more robust. And you know what? If they're not going to build a robust guide, then they need to in their guide actually say, hey, for more information, go to Metaverse Max. Hey, for more information on this, go to MCP HQ. Connecting those dots, I think that. Yeah, Eric, I am a little bit bitter, but it's more of I don't need it myself because I never had any plans to do anything with it. But now I'm thinking about like the fact that, oh, like crap, now somebody can just pretend to be me. Oh, Cider, you did tell me about Unstoppable, didn't you? Like what, 6 months ago? 7 months ago? Might have even been longer than that. Yeah. Yeah. No, Cider's right. Cider reached out to me. It might have even been almost a year ago when Unstoppable first came out. I was like, hey, check this out. And I did. And I was like, I might not need this. I'll circle back to this. Yeah, you're right. Hey, early bird gets the worm, right? Drip. I feel as the game already is relying too heavily on Discord. In-game chat seems like a no-brainer. Yeah. Yep. Yes. So let's call this player-to-player interaction and trading. Too heavily dependent on Discord. 0. No, I did not. But this is my response to having not seen anything of substance from them. So I'm channeling, like I said, I'm gonna start holding them accountable. I'm channeling that into this. So it's not just me saying, here's what I think we should see. It's here's what the community is seeing. Here's why we love you. Here's why we believe in you. Here's what we need to see from you. Yeah, Eric, I was eh. Even like the MROM stuff, I didn't bother to secure any of those things because, I don't know. I'm very much of like, that's future Baba problem. Present Baba, he's good. Let future Baba deal with that. And to Pulse's point, yes. So put it this way, if the Discord was run in an ideal way, that dependence on Discord, in my mind, would be completely fine. But without having a Discord that is consistently being developed, maintained, updated, and a real focal point for the dev team, it becomes an Achilles heel versus an arrow in the quiver. Okay, so that's good. Some things we want to see MCP improve in 2022. Let's talk about what do we want to see them improve with Mega, the actual token. Talk to me about Mega. What would we all like to see them emphasize with regards to Mega in 2022? More uses. How about we call this more practical, logical, and meaningful utility for Mega? Eric, I'm going to add roadmap under here. Okay. And Drip, completely agree about your comment about lowering dependence. Ed, an interesting idea found in one of the other games I play is Fear Start properties that can't be bought by players above a certain net worth in order to give newer players a point of entry. Yeah, I think that's kind of what we're trying to do with the onboarding program. But your point, it's almost like, and I imagine that World will have some type of kind of organic function like that, which is there needs to be a way to enter the ecosystem regardless of your budget, right? Like, even if you think about console games, like you want to play Call of Duty, all right, well, you got $60, you got $50. If you don't, you can't play. And that's not necessarily good for the game either. So with Mega World, they should have that opportunity to really truly create a universal entry point into the game. The question is, how do they do that in a way that it allows that entry point to still be engaging and entertaining and fun and valuable without also, disrupting or minimizing the value of the other portions of the game that are, more populated by larger wallets. And also, Pulse, that's a great point. There will be exploitation they would have to figure out. Okay, so I like that. So, clear on ramps for lower budgets and free to play enthusiasts. COD's free to play now? You can actually play COD without buying the game? All right, don't we saying like the original Call of Duty that's now like $1.99 in the store? Which, by the way, little editorial, feels like with every single COD release, the game gets worse. I gotta go back and just play the original Black Ops. I'd be fine with that. They lost me after jetpacks and wall jumping. Every time I die in that game, if you look at the kill shot, it's me looking anxiously and intently at one point while somebody else who is in the air, usually jumping, is shooting me. It might be playing Call of Duty might actually be more infuriating than dealing with some of the MCP stuff. Let's see here. Opt-in first-person shooter on Mega Map. Okay, so let's I'm gonna call this opt-in experiences and unique gameplay. Okay, I like that. Got some good stuff here. So Mega, I mean, the only thing that I've heard so far is more utility and more uses. What about liquidity pool management? What about, incentives for liquidity? All those things. Talk to me a little bit about that element, because there is a lot more that I think could be done besides just more utility. If you look at other games, they don't always have a ton of utility. Like, I don't know necessarily that up until recently with like Ronin staking, I don't think that AXS had that much more utility than Mega does, if any at all. But yet that coin was still doing quite well. I wish Oz was here, because Oz would have a whole bunch of great points tied to liquidity. All right, no one's saying it, but I'm just going to see. I'm just going to add it here. Liquidity, pool management, and liquidity incentives. 90% staking returns. Yeah, Vitaly, I'm so torn on whether I agree with or disagree with no staking. I feel like staking for world is the logical place to start. Or even if it's just for a smaller period of time. Right, so Ed, I think what you're talking about, yes, is this like clean room environment where the land, you can almost get a feel for the game and play the game, but there's no real money riding on it. Like, if you've got one district that is essentially the like the onboarding district, it allows somebody to purchase the land or use the land for a period of time, almost like a little sandbox. Let's see. Yeah, and I think I like that. Type of sandbox. Some type of sandbox experience to help. I mean, it is. It's for lower budgets, but it really should be for. It doesn't need to be capped at lower budgets. The idea is, when you enter on a lower budget, you can't afford to make any mistakes. Whereas with a larger budget, you can probably afford to make a couple mistakes. So how do we give somebody the ability to play the game, make a couple of mistakes, and not crush all hopes and dreams? Any staking Mega for getting additional percent in Mega or World will incentivize people to hold Mega and earn some passive income. Yeah, Vitaly, I don't get it either. Though I think I had asked them once a while back, like, why aren't there any substantial or differentiated rewards or incentives for providing liquidity or for holding Mega? And the response that I got was, there are regulations in certain parts of the world that make liquidity pool incentives not possible. I'm not sure if I believe that or buy that, but that was the response that I got. So let's liquidity pool management and liquidity incentives. Passive. Actually, there is no passive income right now from holding Mega. Yep. Staking Mega plus farming world. That's what we can do now to get pools with some crypto. Yeah, Vitaly, it's so clear, right? Stake Mega, earn world. Maybe I'm missing something that is quite clear to them and not clear to me, but I don't know. That initial supply of world is going to have to come from somewhere. They're going to mint it out of nothing, right? So why should it not be backed? Why should the supply of world not be backed by Mega? Right, Vitaly. Yep. Yep. Yeah, you can farm it now, even though there's no practical application or use for it yet in the game, but it's still. Yep, that staking mechanic is there, and it serves a purpose, and the community believes in it enough to stake because they're looking forward to what that coin will be able to do. Okay, so let's talk now. Let's get into the stuff that we think they're doing a substandard job of that we'd like to see them improve. Here, I'll start us off. Roadmap. Consistent communication to community, social media presence, and original content creation. Anyway, this is the place where I'm expecting a lot of people to toss stuff out because I think we've got a lot of pent up ideas and hopes with regards to this. Ed, I get the feeling that some of the vault values are distorted and competing with the marketplace. Maybe there should be a window for arbitrage, say quarterly. During this window, all transactions are delayed for pooling and gets pushed through at subsidized cost split between pool participants. Yeah, I think the in-game market, if we're talking about the actual materials market, the in-game market should be following the vault because the vault is pegged to I guess what we'll call it, it's organic, but it's really more artificial, a constrained value based off of the withdrawals and deposits into and from the vault. And therefore, the in-game market will always pace with the vault because it is a substitute mechanism to acquire those materials. It's essentially the place where you will go if you don't want to go through the hassle of purchasing Mega or acquiring Mega or deal with those swap fees. So what you will see is arbitrage opportunities and arbitrage happen when the price of Mega pumps, and then somebody will go into the in-game marketplace, clear it out, kind of sweep the floor, grab that stuff, and then drop that deposit in the vault. Pulse, the vault did ruin the free market. What we had originally was a free market. The vault has annihilated that. Materials relative to capital and also relative to each other. Baiku, actually, the good news is your market history is available. 1 second. I'm going to pull this up for you, my friend. I just want news. I'm going to have to go to HQ for that link. Let's see here. I can get you that link there. The newspaper actually has a pretty good view of the history of what's been bought and sold, at what prices and what volumes. Sources. Here, check this. This is HQ's listing of all of the official MCP game sources. And then more specifically, like for you, check out that link right there. I think I'm pretty sure you're on Tron. I forget if you're on Tron or Ethereum, but you can toggle between Ethereum and Tron. But if you go there, and actually more specifically, I'll drop in this link because this is the market link. This will show you over a certain period of time all the deals that have occurred in that market, what's been purchased in what quantity and for how much. And you also get to see the production, new supply, consumption, all that stuff. Drip says, I agree with Pulse. As a new player, if you couldn't afford land, but maybe you can afford materials, there's no real way to flip for a profit if no one will ever buy on account. Yes, yeah, that's a great point. That used to exist. That was a big thing that players could come in and they could actually use the in-game market to make money to then go and purchase land, and that has virtually been, it hasn't been eliminated, but it is really, really tough. I like that. Yep. Okay. Yeah, Drip, like the only way that will actually work now when in a material manner that doesn't have you doing that for 3 years to make the money you need to afford the plot of land is if you purchase something off the floor, a material off the floor, and the price of Mega jumps up 30, 40%, and then you swap that into the vault for Mega and swap Mega for Tron, then yes, you come out on top, but you also have vault fees to account for and take into consideration, which does wipe out some of that margin. And there were a lot of people that did that. Not actually, like personally, myself on the Ethereum side, I would love, I produce a crap ton of energy and water every day. I would love to be able to bring somebody on and say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna sell you. I'm gonna, wholesale my energy and water to you, and you go out and you sell it, and whatever you get, you keep. That's a good thing. And ideally, it wouldn't just be able to, like, you can do that with energy and water still because it's not in the vault. But ideally, you would also be able to do the same thing with other materials too. Yes, and Pulse, to your point, the margin typically is high. Yep. And that type of free market paradigm would also allow newer players to come in and partner with some of the veterans and larger players who will say, hey, you know what? I'm willing to sacrifice some margin for me getting time back from not having to have to create these packs, not having to go out and try to find people to sell my material to. It's a win-win there. I'm actually very, very surprised by this crowd here because you've had so much more about this game and project that you love and you're really happy with and excited about than what you really want to see them focus on improving. It's kind of revealing. This conversation is almost a little bit too positive and constructive. Ed, if the volt is the indicator and currently lower than market, and market should normalize to volt, you are starting off at a loss if you're not able to swing resources. Yes, absolutely, Ed. As he says, I'd like to see more agency for district owners, like whether they want to opt in for certain game upgrades and plot management. Ooh, I love the idea of that, Z. I love the idea of that. Anything that we can do that will allow district owners who want to invest above and beyond, and I'm not talking about financially, I mean financially, yes, but emotionally and mentally into the game and their district and community. I would love, like, I think I'm probably one of the more active district owners. I would love for my creativity, ambitions, and innovative thinking to be able to really set my district apart from every other district. And I think luckily 214 is set apart from many districts, but there is a logical cap. So yeah, I love that. Prospecting for oil on plots and new materials. Eric, I like that. Um, let's call this to a less specific degree. I'll include oil prospecting as an example, but just like a more general shell to this. Prospecting of unused land, farm materials. Maybe something like that. World slash. Almost like Eric, it's kind of like if they were planning on, let's say if they were planning on making oil a resource in the game down the road, before you actually release that, for the 6-month lead up into that, you could actually make oil a component or prerequisite in certain recipes or formulas, and have it only be able to be acquired by being found on land, and then at some point in the future they could open it up so you could actually build stuff to produce it. But that would create use for the land, integrate a new material in there, and also set us up for this, so there's excitement building to say, hey, you know what? At the end of 2022, there's going to be, oil rigs that we can build and plant offshore. But in the meantime, the only way to actually get oil is to prospect land. And as part of like that storyline, we've exhausted all the oil on land, but now, hey, you have the ability to go and create an offshore rig. You got to buy the land, and Lenny's already confirmed that the water plots and beach plots, they are their own unique plots. So MCP could open them up, and you create a sector off of that approach. So I like that. What was I writing here? Microeconomy. New materials. Incorporated into the game. And in theory, Eric, these new materials need to add value or demand for legacy materials. Cider. Another idea that I want to see is what to do. Maybe decrease plot prices in order for more people can buy it. Right now I have an empty land next to my actual building, but it is impossible for me to buy that land because it is so expensive. Yeah, so sorry, I think that the danger with... I think the thing we have to remember is that the microeconomy is not supposed to get cheaper, it's supposed to get more expensive. If it's getting cheaper, it's because the game is dying, whereas Mega World offers that opportunity to say, okay, here's an alternate source of revenue or an alternate way to play as the microeconomy starts to get more expensive or in higher demand, so you can actually supplement your microeconomy earnings with world play, right? Because if plots start getting cheaper, then all of a sudden it's actually undermining the value. It's like when you buy a new car and you drive it off the lot. If when you drive it off the lot, if the dealership says, "Oh, we just sold that Porsche for 80 grand," next Porsche we're selling for 75K. Do I hear 75? Okay, we got to buy. Okay, the next one we're going for 70. No one's going to buy the Porsche at 80 or at 75 because they know it's going to keep dropping. Yeah, Drip says Sandbox can at least attribute most of their success to marketing, whereas MCP has nothing. Right. So how about marketing plan and efficient use of funds to expand community and awareness of the project in a sustainable manner. If you spend, make sure you can retain and make sure you can onboard, engage, and retain. Because that's an important point. We want them to spend money on marketing, obviously, but the thing for everybody to remember is those dollars, if they are spending money on marketing, but they do not have a high degree of confidence that those people that they spend the dollar or $5 or $100 to get their attention are actually going to be engaged and retained. They're just burning money. And if they're just going to burn money, then you know what? Maybe the better use of that money is for them to buy materials off of the in-game market or purchase back materials and burn the materials. I'd rather see them spend right here and right now. Honest, I'd rather see them spend $100,000 to purchase materials from the vault and burn those materials than go out and spend $100,000 on marketing, because right now they're not set up for all the reasons we just talked about with Discord, with their communication, with their onboarding, with the game information, not set up to retain those players that they were to acquire with those $100,000. We saw it with Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban was purchasing and holding Mega, and who knows about any land or anything, but he was here and they could not keep or capture his attention. So he divested Mega, moved on. That's something that we really, really have to keep in mind. Let's see. Yeah, Drip, you're totally right about the there is value in having high profile community members, and that kind of goes back to the partnerships, right? So I'm not personally saying no, we shouldn't have that. I'm saying we have to have, or they, no, we collectively have to have the self-awareness to see and recognize MCP for what it is today, as well as what it could be. And what it is today is a great product, but it's not a product that is, no, I'm sorry. The product is ready. The team is not ready to handle a massive influx of players. So Snoop Dogg coming in to say, hey, play with me, come play with me and build in MegaCryptoPolis, that's great. But MCP can barely keep up with the bugs and the support requests that we have today. Multiply our community by 2, by 3, by 4, by 5 or more. They can't keep up. And what will happen is they will create a paradigm and an ecosystem where players are getting increasingly frustrated, even more so than now. We're going to lose them. And in this industry, if you feel burned by a game, you're not coming back ever. There's going to be plenty of opportunities for them to find other games. So that's why that engagement and retention is so critical to me. Z says marketing isn't there, but maybe they're waiting for actual world to come out. Something you can see active people walking around and contribute to very low costs. Seems like it will attract and keep more people. Yes, that's exactly it, Z. That's the way I feel about it. Is that right now they have to get their house in order. They have to prepare for the party, with the party being Mega World. And then once Mega World is ready, you've got all, if you're using the party analogy, you got your food, you get your liquor, you get the band is all there. Now come invite people to the party. But don't start inviting people to the party before the caterers have arrived. Don't start inviting people before the alcohol has arrived, because otherwise you send out these invitations saying, it's the party of the century, let's go, we're going to have some fun. People start showing up, and they're looking around like, well, what do I eat? Well, what do I drink? Why is there no music? Right? My opinion, MCP needs one updated guide, not 2 or 3 existing now on one website. I mean, one link. Some small gifts for new players after finishing a longer guide on map. Maybe a gift with a small pack of energy or water. Yeah, it all comes down to a more robust onboarding method. I mean, you're always going to have more than one place to go for information, right? If there are no community sites that are created around MCP, it means that there's nobody that's passionate about the stuff. The whole point with HQ is you've got a whole bunch of people who are passionate enough about the game to then create all these resources and guides and information, which will supplement the current understanding of what MCP has in their guides. So you're always going to have multiple locations and sources of information, but ideally, the official source of information is a lot more robust than what MCP currently has. Yeah, Ed, I would love that. I think it says how about MCP just outsource their guide to MCP HQ, then they can also focus attention on other things, and the community can build what they want and need. And we've approached them about that. We reached out and said, like, listen, any game science that you can share that you want, we'll create a guide for it. We'll put it on HQ. We'll, like, you don't have to worry about building a guide for this stuff. If you provide us with the inputs or the formula or anything like that, we will create that, that guide and material for the community. And they've opted not to do that, which to me tells me it's actually not about being lazy or not prioritizing. I think in a lot of cases, they actually want us to have to dig and learn things on our own to make it like truly decentralized. But that doesn't mean that there can't be a rich starting guide. And right now that starting guide does not exist. Rich onboarding experience. Bring them along on the startup journey, get them set up for do your own research success. I think that's important, is that we're never necessarily going to see them hand everything over, which is fine. But what we are saying is when it comes time for a player to do their own research, they need to have the ability to do so in an effective and relatively easy manner. Zero, I personally don't know where the servers are. I'm sure somebody out there has probably figured it out, though. Hustler, hey. Yeah, Ed, as far as I think that plays a big role in it. So Ed's talking about protecting IP being intellectual property, not influence points. And I do think that's part of it, because obviously the more we know, the easier it is for somebody to go and replicate the game. And that's what I was talking about the other day, a couple weeks or months back, when I was like, we as players do have options. There are options out there. We know a lot. Like this game in concept will never die, because in the event that MCP does not build this the right way, there are always steps that the community can take to ensure that the experience that they're looking for is out there and available. So I do imagine that part of it is tied to IP, Ed. But there are certainly things, like, well, so what do they have? They have, they've got the recipe, the by level, how many, the min and the max, right? That's there. But would it really be giving up their IP if they had a guide that says, here's how much each level of the building costs in a 0% tax district, Ethereum and Tron? No, it's not really, it's not true IP. So I think there is an element of either laziness or enhanced decentralization that they kind of have in their mind, because there are some things that could definitely put in their official guide that would not, I don't think would, be tagged as proprietary or IP. Oh, yeah, Z, exactly. Just like RuneScape, right? Before Rune HQ was around, you had to go out and explore. But then once Rune HQ came around, the community came together and built all the quest guides. They built like literally all of that stuff, which was great because it allowed Jagex to focus on building the game. Ooh, man, that's a while back. Reminiscing about RuneScape. That's fun. Baiku, in my opinion, this game looks better than Decentraland. Just need to be more open to newcomers. Spot on. How I feel. I think that's how pretty much everybody feels. There's no way that an MCP team and product at the top of their game will be outmatched by anything that's out there on the market today. Drip says, speaking of guides, more entertaining format would help. Clicking on the guide and seeing a million words pop on my screen seems like reading through fine print. Nobody wants to read fine print. Yes, I mean, Drip, I think in this case, I'm gonna disagree respectfully. It's taken us as a community 3 years to mine and unravel the mysteries of the game and the economy. And candidly, if somebody comes in and is not willing to read a one pager about what each sector does or a lot of information, then the microeconomy probably isn't the right game for that play. Maybe it's more for Mega World. So I think it also does it is like the great filter as well that says part of this gut check is as you're doing your research, if you're finding that this is too much to consume or read through, maybe that should be a little bit of a red flag for you that says this is for me to be successful and set myself up for maximum success. I have to go through this information. Um, Maybe it's not as easy as some folks would like, but I think that's great because somebody who goes there and says, "Oh, this is a lot to figure out." It's a good sign that maybe the game in its current state isn't best for that person. But that doesn't mean that Mega World won't be, and that doesn't mean that the game can't eventually be. Um, but you do also have the place where a one-dimensional game is very easy to learn. But a one-dimensional game also does not necessarily always have what it takes to grow and grow sustainably long term. The more complex the game is, the more sustainable it can become because the more dynamic and diverse the gameplay and strategies can be. And like our big thing as a community is when somebody comes in that's new, we're not going to hand them the recipe for success, but we are going to hand them a cookbook, and we're going to constantly update that cookbook to say you want to create and make a really really delicious meal. All right, find the meal that you want to make, and then here you go. Here's a guide on how to make it. But we're not going to tell you here make some chicken parmesan, and here's the recipe. So, I mean, what else? What else do we want to see specifically from the team? I mean, I think we've identified that there's a lot of stuff here around Discord, the roadmap, um, marketing, and onboarding. What else is there? We've got lots of stuff on the roadmap that hasn't come together yet. Talk about special buildings. Talk about Mega World and all that has to offer. What's on our mind as far as what we'd like to see built over the next year? Yeah, Z, I think that might be it, right? It's not hand you the info, but recognize that there are various ways to consume the information. And if somebody wants to just see, like 3 quick cards that says energy, it's required for everything. Industrial, it's required for all lower level buildings. Production, you need these materials for high level upgrades. If they only want a very very small portion of info to get started and not have to sift through everything for a comprehensive view, that's also I can see the value there. Yeah, I mean, Drip, I don't know how it can have a better format. I guess I would challenge you to figure out what is it that's on the. And I'm assuming you're talking about HQ. I'm not sure if you're talking about HQ or the MCP guide. But I think for us, like we also have to educate our content creators on this is how I am most likely to interact with, understand, and consume content. Um, because otherwise, if we're not doing that, then it's putting information out there. And to your point, it's not if it's not optimized for all audiences, it's going to have it's not going to have the intended effect. Crypto Hustler. I'm excited for car plants, hotels, universities, and possible ability to breed animals. I like that. So what do we want to see, Hustler, on car plants, hotels, university, and that stuff? What's the specific ask that you would have of the MCP team in 22 relative to that? Yeah, like advertising is supposed to be part of, I think, at least the commercial buildings. I would imagine too that there's some of the transportation stuff like the subway and the bus stations would have that as well. Pulse, I like that ability to rotate buildings. Citizen and pet rentals, native to game. I like that. I think we've learned recently, especially as we start to look at the Tron onboarding stuff, that citizen rentals really would be huge. What do we want to see with Mega? Anything like specific things that we want to see it integrated into? Do we want to see, um, certain actions require Mega, require worlds? What are we feeling there? Gotcha. Drew. Okay, so the in-game guide, and I wonder, see, because I think that the in-game guide is like already super light. Um, so I'm curious. They definitely they do have to figure out something to do there, make it more like maybe interactive or visual. Whereas HQ we're I think trying to start with just get all the information out there, and then how can we take it one level up to say, okay, now that all that information's out there, if you want the cheat sheet version of this, here you go. Here are the, of these 2 pages, here are the 5 things you need to know, a couple lines each. Okay, so you want to know, will this be released before World, and what are the requirements and or buildings benefits to releasing them? Okay. So let's talk about context and update on special buildings. What will they be? What will they be? What will they require to build and operate? What purpose will they serve in microeconomy and world? Clippy from Windows. Oh my gosh, Clippy. Jeez, Hustler. Clippy. Oof. It says, imagine as municipal, you could add schools for IP to upskill citizens and a commercial aspect to, yeah. There's a ton they could do with that, Ed. Yeah, Mega does cost more than mana. It does. But the supply is so much lower, right? Isn't the supply of mana is pretty crazy high, isn't it? Whereas supply of Mega is a million on each map. Pulse, I like that. We need weekly streams with devs and a face-to-face that we can trust. We need a face that we can trust and actually talk with. I do not believe that 2 hours every week will set back the development of the game. Yeah, you're spot on. Spot on. Weekly communications, dialogue with member of the MCP team. 1 to 2 hours expected. Z, do you think the community would be open to voting on new building or adjustments to IP, like adding IP for residentials on the water? Well, that's interesting. Geographical bonuses versus, see what I like about that? I'm thinking of like in Civilization, when you build, or I guess this would be Civ 3, I don't know if it existed past it, but when you built a city on top of a hill, it gave it a natural defense bonus for the units that are stationed there. I think that's kind of what you're talking about, is regardless of what the units that you actually have stationed there or what's around it, the fact that this residential has 2 plots of water within its IP radius, that would account for something. It actually kind of goes back to maybe like what Eric was talking about with like style points, is is there's IP, but is there actually also like this new secondary rating or ranking or feature system? At which point, to your point, Z, like you could use geographical features around it to talk about, or I guess to differentiate that building's productivity and yield from an identical building on a different part of the map. So I'm gonna put that. I don't really know where to put that. I guess I'm just gonna put that into like interesting ideas. I'm probably gonna have to go through and reorganize this a little bit afterwards, but just want to get it all out there. Bonuses for buildings based on geographic properties and proximity. Waterfront, forest, etc. I like that. I like that idea a lot, Z. I like that idea a lot. It's really, really cool. And it doesn't require a massive overhaul of the system, right? See, Ed, thank you for joining. I appreciate it, bud. Let's see, Baiku. Logging into Decentraland, sometimes I need 30 minutes to MCP 1 minute. Also, graphics look better. Yeah, but that's I think that's the way we kind of all feel, right? Is foundation's there. The product is awesome. It looks great. I mean, there are some people that come in. There's that one person that keeps coming to the Discord that randomly posts something completely unproductive, once every couple of days, talking about graphics. But like, graphics initially were the thing that kept me away from the game until I actually learned to appreciate the graphics and recognize that this isn't a AAA console game. But to your point, compared to so many other experiences and like Decentraland stuff that is or has already exploded, this product looks 1,000 times better, and it has more depth to it. I like that policy. Yep, smelter if it's near a forest, for sure. Oh yeah, right. A bonus for a mixer near water if it produces sand, because you do need sand. I really like that. Let's see. I think I missed. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So the team. Yeah, Drip. So the team is anonymous. I think though. Here's my. Or it's not my theory. Somebody else came up with it, and I'm adopting it and agreeing with it. My personal belief is that they are given the inconsistency and the sprints that we see, where it's like they do nothing for 3 months and then 1 month they hit us with 30 different things and then disappear again for a month. I'm beginning to embrace the theory that they are actually, it's not that they want to remain anonymous because, for tax reasons, for regulations, anything like that. I think that part of this is they might be developers on another high-profile project, and MCP is almost like it's not their true full-time job. That would be one possible explanation for why they choose to remain anonymous, even after all these years, because typically anonymity, like maybe you remain anonymous at the beginning because you don't know where this thing is going to go, but once you've got a living, breathing product that's been sustained for a year, you say, okay, hey, here's who we are. They haven't done that, and so it's either it's one of 3 things. It's a social experiment. They are trying to dodge tax or regulations, or they have like they have certain personal circumstances that say, hey, you know what? In order for us to develop MCP to the way that we want to, we have to be able to make this our full-time job, but this can't be our full-time yet because of reasons X, Y, and Z. I don't know. But Drip, I like the last bit there, right? It's about taking pride, right? So I hope that whatever the situation is, the devs look at their product and project and feel this immense source of pride to the point where every single day they themselves have this internal struggle of, should we share who we are? Is it time yet? I personally, so here's what I want to know. Taking from this, I want to know, what is the milestone or action that will trigger the devs, developers to come public and share identity, IRL or virtual, right? Because like even if they don't tell us, hey, my name is John and I live in Wisconsin, I don't need to know that. I just want to know, like, who the F am I talking to right now? Can you give me some kind of persona so it's not just, the community manager that we don't actually know who they are or have any idea about, like, their persona? Like, can you assign yourselves names or avatars or just something as a first step? Hustler, similar to my devs, they tend to have their heads down in building, don't talk much to the community. We literally had finally build a team to reach out to them. Yeah, and it's like, I get that. I get that the natural inclination of a developer is to be heads down and develop, and that's totally, that makes sense. But we've also seen that no project succeeds without an effective community engagement strategy, and therefore, again, it all comes back down to prioritizing resources appropriately, both financial and personnel. There needs to be, to Pulsar's point, there needs to be somebody that's coming in on a weekly basis to have a conversation and a dialogue prompting the community, not just checking in to see how many, like, what was I tagged in? What was I not tagged in? What's the issue? What's on fire? We have to get out of that what's on fire thought process and come in and say, hey, it's Monday. It's time for me to share. Here's what we're excited about. Here's what we worked on last week. And here's something we want to bring to the community. Here's the question that we want to ask you guys. So for the next week, I'd love it if you talked about and got back to us about your ideas about, hey, what should we do with pets? Hey, what can we do with Mega to incentivize liquidity? What's preventing people from putting liquidity in the pool? Like, literally all those things, they could be coming in and prompting the community to focus our time, attention, and ideas in a highly productive and concentrated manner, but they're not doing that. And that's a massive, massive miss on their end. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Whoever is running the studio itself is completely incompetent. Completely and utterly incompetent. They're in over their heads. But they have the skills needed to have created a wonderful, amazing product. They just do not have the skills or pride to devote the right amount of time to the things that we believe are most important to us. Yeah, hustle, right? That's the thing. So yeah, it makes sense they are hyper focused on another project, and this is their child. And you could say, okay, well, like MCP came before, so then you have the whole like MCP and Farsight situation going on. So it's like, all right, well, it's always weird when Farsight has new stuff happening and MCP doesn't, and then MCP has stuff happening and Farsight doesn't. So there's also elements of that kind of come to mind. But I personally don't think that this is their time is either spent on Farsight or MCP. I think there actually legitimately is this original project that they were working on, or part of the team that they are still associated with and helping to build. And for that reason alone, they can't dox themselves, because then they can't be part of that project. But you could also argue, I've heard people talk about like the underlying code, and there's also reasons to believe that they're not actually these like best in class programmers and developers. So I don't know. There's, unfortunately, without any real information from them, we're left to speculate, and our speculations typically do not lead to a place of ultra positivity. It's always worst case scenarios. Oh, really, Hustler? That's awesome. Owner of 2 districts? That's pretty cool. Well, hopefully that person comes back and brings those districts along for a nice little ride. Yeah, Pulse, and Pulse, your point, yeah, don't care about real names. Streams don't even need to have video, right? It's just like literally take one step forward. How can you elevate your game based off of what you've done historically? And the historical community engagement it worked for the first 1 to 2 years, no doubt about it. Now it's time. You're trying to become a best in class product. You're rolling out this amazing metaverse. You need your community engagement has to come along with that. You have to invest proportionally in your community as you do in your product. Like, ooh, we got a new idea. I love it. Okay. Is it possible to create or allow to create new graphics, projectors here, new skins for everything, like new skins? Oh, okay. I'm so glad that you said that, because that's actually we've talked about that a bit. So I'm gonna layer this in here, and so let's talk about like the new skin for residential buildings. We've said there's a couple things that we've thought about. So one is going to be this idea that for the microeconomy buildings, um, there could be this world where there's like a first generation building, second generation building, third, and so on. So if MCP wanted to adjust any mechanics or formulas, they could say, "Hey, we're retiring the Gen 1 version of energy plants. And now, anytime a new energy plant is constructed, it's going to be Gen 2, and here's how it looks." Or it produces a little bit less or consumes more. There's tweaks that they can make, which in turn would make all of the other the Gen 1 assets that much more valuable. And the same thing could be true where the Gen 2s are actually more powerful, right? And then maybe you can sink resources into your Gen 1 to upgrade it to whatever the specifications of Gen 2 are. So there's the actual like the output yield and mechanics that could change. But you could also skin it to create a more personalized, unique looking building, which has been discussed. It's purely cosmetic, but it would be pretty damn cool. So change the appearance of microeconomy buildings, custom skins, wrappers, or building. Possibly rolled out as part of the world constructor. I love that. Love it, Baiku. Love it. Yep, and skins can be sold and stuff like that. Absolutely. And I imagine that the customization of citizens avatars, like that's just going to be naturally occurring in world. But the notion of customizing your microeconomy buildings and creating its own personal identity, I think that would be really cool. It's actually like at a district level too, right? So for me, I own 214. We're branding it as Dubai, and therefore maybe as the district owner, I can pay somebody to design and actually create visual skins for those buildings. And therefore, an industrial building in Dubai is going to have a slightly different aesthetic and architectural design as its skin than one in District 120 on Ethereum, which Baller has branded as Los Angeles. So that in and of itself would also allow us to create a point of differentiation, make it a unique experience, and also make it worthwhile to explore different parts of the map, because now all of a sudden you're actually kind of intrigued by what an industrial building looks like in District 1 versus District 2. What I also like too about the notion of microeconomy buildings is we saw this happen with commercials and the bus stop, which is right now you can attach appliances to a building, which give it boosts. But why can't we add upgrades or enhancements to it? So, as an example, we've talked about like warehouses and storage facilities. So, what if the idea of as you upgrade to certain levels, there is the ability to add a warehouse or a storage locker, whatever the case may be, so that you can actually drop, if I want to, deposit X number amount of energy and water and Ethereum or Tron into my industrial building, it will auto collect, deposit those materials into a warehouse in my building, and then I go and collect from that warehouse when it gets full. So you can bolt on enhancements to the building or improvements on the building besides just appliances. Upgrades slash improvements for buildings. Storage room. I mean, even something like think of like practical things like solar panels. And I hate that I'm saying this because it can potentially diminish the value of energy, but solar panels, you attach a solar panel to your building, and then now all of a sudden your energy requirements are cut by 10%. Same thing, you install a water collection, a rainwater collection bin. Now all of a sudden your water requirements are down by 10%. Or you bolt additional things onto your building that could increase your yield, and by increasing the yield, it's also going to require more, more energy, more water, more wood, more sand. There's a lot of stuff that they can do if they make that building more, I guess, add additional dimensions to, where it's not just you buy a plot of land, build a building, attach appliances, but you actually upgrade that building. You add on to the building itself, which could be part of world. The way that we're customizing the interiors, I'm not going to customize the interior of a mixing plant to be a storefront to sell stuff, but I might customize the interior to have a break room so that the workers lose less stamina. I might add a little R&D facility to improve my yield. I might add a storage room or warehouse in the interior so that I can collect and store up to 7 days worth or 7 collections worth of materials before I actually have to physically go and withdraw that. So I'm going to add this R&D break room that will serve functional purposes. This could be part of the world interior building. Pulsar also, at this chapter, allow customization, for example, a smelter, allow upgrades that would increase the wood production but reduce the metal, or allow the refit. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Customization and differentiation of microeconomy buildings allow players to toggle and tune capabilities, i.e. increase yield, but also increase consumption up to a point without diminishing value proposition of next level. And this is also, like, if we think about it, what we're talking about, if we're thinking about what can we do to the interiors to impact their output or productivity when Mega World comes around, now all of a sudden that level 1 building versus level 5 versus level 6 versus level 7, you can start to say, okay, well, yeah, a level 1 building maybe can't actually add anything. A level 1 building is just, it's the building itself. No break room, nothing else. But a level 2, now there is space where they can add a break room. And a level 3, you can add a break room and a storage room, and so on. And then a level 6, you have 2 plots of land, so you can do even more. With a level 7, you've got 4 plots of land. There's just so much that you can do with the existing framework that's in place. I mean, Zero, we got a lot of stuff here, but if you look at what we're talking about, there's nothing here that actually requires them going back to the drawing board. It's all stuff that's building on what they've already created, right? Like there's nothing here where it's like, blow the game up and start fresh. This is all, hey, we love what you have. Now here's something that you can layer on top of this. Oh, I also like, even Paul's like, just that the notion of like a garage. So if we do have like collection or transportation of materials, like literally all this stuff could be added as stuff that would be built using materials from world. So now all of a sudden you have a reason for people to work and make things. Those people can sell that to us in the microeconomy, and we can retrofit our buildings to kind of fine tune our output and our capacity and capabilities. Drip, I would say the number one thing they can or should do is update videos, podcasts, and newsletters. Anything coming straight from the dev team to the users, I feel like that should be prioritized. Oh, dude, that's absolutely, absolutely. Recurring newsletter, podcast, note on progress, priorities, changes, etc. from the developer community to the player. I love that. Yeah, Drip, I'm gonna send this to them via DM, but I'm also going to, I'll put this in a PDF, I'll share it in the general chat and tag them and also DM them directly. I'm probably going to clean this up and add some context around this, but what I might do for the start is I might just take this, make this into a PDF, toss it over in general chat so everybody has a chance to see it, and then I'll clean it up. So what I actually send to them directly is going to be this, but reframed in a nice, easy to digest manner so that there's no misinterpretation of anything we're saying here. Oh, Biker, you got a new idea. I love it. Open a new branch, company cleaning waste, and all buildings produce waste. Yes, 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 yes. That's actually, so, Biker, what you're talking about is a logical and practical application for municipal buildings, right? And you could do a couple things, right? So municipal buildings getting an overhaul. Nothing says that a police station has to be a police station down the road, right? So like if they look at this and say there's no purpose, no practical purpose for a police station, okay, well turn it into a waste management facility, right? And then to your point, every number of buildings produce, every building produces waste. And you know what? What if, like, me as the district owner, I have to drop waste management facilities around the map to ensure that the district's beauty is intact, that we don't have smog, we don't have pollution, that the area is still beautiful. Or alternatively, if another player wants to build it, that waste management, maybe that waste management, if you build that waste management facility in range of your industrial buildings, it actually recovers small amounts of some resource, right? So it cleans the air or whatever, it purifies the air, but also a byproduct of that, like, air treatment is that it produces some new resource which can be used in world. Yeah, Pauls, I have to find a way I have to find a way to post this in an equally productive and constructive manner. Let's see here. Yeah, Zero, like incinerators, stuff like that. Yep. Z, what do you guys think about letting players collect materials in a world by playing VR and actually cutting down trees in game? Might be too exploitable by bots, but it would keep. That's actually Z. That's kind of what we were talking about. Maybe a couple of years, not a couple of years back, a couple months back, we had a brainstorm. I'll drop. Let me find it on YouTube. I'll drop the link to the video over in chat. But we had a brainstorm where we suggested what we felt was a great free-to-play slash scholar model, and it factored in exactly that, right? Which is make the free-to-play gameplay meaningful, so that it's really an immersive experience and not just clicking on something and being done. The challenge, though, is that some of those elements of gameplay, we have to be mindful that not everybody has access to a device that is beefy enough to handle that. So there is some kind of trade-off, which is how immersive can you get without actually preventing a larger population of players from joining and playing and enjoying that experience. Let me see here. Designing. Here we go. This is a very long video because it was directly from a stream, but I truly believe that anybody who watches this video from beginning to end will see just how much MCP cares because they joined us for that discussion. And you'll also be able to really appreciate just why we're so excited about what World can bring. Maz, thank you for joining. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you keep those waffles and coffee coming so that so Lux doesn't start to get bogged down. And thank you for the tip about focus. I'm legitimately going to go to the store today and buy something for that specifically. But what I think I'm going to put here, Z, on this is immersive gameplay for World. And that can take the form of a couple different things, but essentially make the gameplay fun, meaningful, and as realistic as possible. But also... Ooh, dogs are not happy. Mutant for a second. I love that mute button. But also be... words are not working right now. Be possible to be played on basic devices. And what's interesting, so this note specifically, I think it's critical because if we look at the Pegaxi game, which I know Vitaly and Polly, you guys just started to get involved in that. I've been wanting to jump into that game for a while, but I just keep waiting for prices to drop. But one thing that they mention is there's a whole bunch of stuff they want to do, but because they're so heavily dependent on the Scholar model, they need to ensure that even the most basic mobile devices can handle the overhead associated with running a 3D game, races, and all that stuff. And that's going to be critical for us to understand is there might be a lot of stuff that we want them to do, but if Mega World in the future of the MCP play to earn model is dependent on a massive influx of people from around the globe, specifically places that aren't necessarily first world countries, we have to keep in mind that the lowest common denominator is what their devices are going to be able to handle. Yeah, Paul say was. I was like, the words weren't working. I was like, what word is going to work in this situation? Exactly, Zara. Yeah. Yep. Playing Snake versus playing MCP, you're going to need a different device potentially for what MCP is going to require, right? So they have to find a way to bring this to life in a way that is meaningful and immersive and enjoyable and engaging, but also doesn't immediately eliminate 90% of the population because they don't have a device that can support it. Yep. By the way, anybody that PegX, the example I gave, the guy that is the CMO of that project's name is Corey Wilton, and I'm not easily impressed by anyone or anything. Celebrities, I don't care. I don't care who you are, what you've accomplished. Congratulations. I admire what you've done. I admire what you have accumulated and what you've created, but I'm not the kind of person that's like, "Oh my gosh, I need to take a picture with this person. This person is amazing." This guy is so genuine, um, and he's the type of person that when I look at the kind of content he puts out for that community, and the way that he leads that project, it makes me, like, literally almost completely confident and comfortable entering that project without my usual concern for risk. The stuff that he says, the content he puts out, the way that he approaches that community, it is so beyond best in class. It's astounding. I'm gonna find his Twitter account and drop it in here because the reason why I bring this up is because when I think about how I want MCP to act and what I expect of them, I expect them to emulate what he does. What Jiho from Axe, like, there are plenty of people in the space that have already created the blueprint for what an amazing, best in class developer or project team look like. They just need to embrace it, and Corey just does, my God, a phenomenal job. I'm gonna find his stuff. You should check it out because he's just an overall awesome person. That's Corey, and he is the CMO of the Pegaxi game. Looks pretty cool. It's Zed Run, but with Pegasus instead of horses. Oh, Vitaly, you sent it to them? Yeah, like legitimately. Just don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just replicate. Learn from him. That's all we're asking. Or hell, hire one of us and we'll do it. I'll quit my job. I will literally quit my job if they reach out and they're like, "Hey, if you divest your assets and you can focus on this full time, like, run with it." I'd do it in a heartbeat. That's how much I love this game. That's how I love this game. And as I watch Corey stuff, it inspires me to be like, okay, this is what we need on this project. So how can we, as part of the community, actually step into a role like that until MCP adopts and embraces that philosophy, mentality, and approach? How can we kind of fill that void? Tell you, if I'm the face of this project right now, we in trouble. Sell, sell, sell. No, I appreciate that. I think that's, for me right now, if that's the role that I can play, and have the biggest impact. I think it's important. I'm hoping that at some point in time, the MCP team steps up and kind of takes that on themselves. But in the meantime, I think we all have an opportunity to be something that we want to see in the community and the developer team. Vitaly, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Why? Like, that's what we need. We need a Corey. We need a Corey. I'll gladly raise my hand to do that. Pulse. I appreciate it. I love you. Thank you for that. As an only District 214 investor, I hope they will not reach out to you. I still want you to stay in 214, and Dubai will not be the same. Don't worry, Pulse. They're not going to reach out. They're not going to reach out. Plus, the more that I talk about how incompetent the head of Supernovae is, the even less likely it is that they're going to reach out. Honestly, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. Not unless it was, like, legitimately the head of the studio. At which point, I'm not really equipped to do that because I don't know the damn first thing about building a game. But I think as a group here, as a community, we've got a really good chance to, if we can just kind of keep our ideas concentrated and focused and our criticisms productive and constructive, we can shape the project. There's no doubt about that. We're literally going to be able to hand them exactly what it is that we as a community expect and want to see. And once we do that, it's on them. And if they can't deliver against what we're asking for, then that's a sign for all of us. But I think it's on us, in order for us to hold them accountable for what they deliver in 2022. we have to have done what we've done today, which is collect our thoughts and say, this is what we expect of you in 2022. Now, can you please build a roadmap and show us how you're going to get to this? And the stuff that you can't get to or you don't want to build in, completely fine. But I think that you owe us that dialogue around why does this or does not fit into your ultimate vision. Yes, Zero, that is possible. Like I said, we always have options. But this game is just 3 years in the making. They're so close to just flipping that switch and being an unstoppable force. I'm personally just curious as to what is preventing them from flipping that switch. So accountability starts, they need to be accountable for what they do and what they don't do. I expect to see a major change in or a major improvement in the type of pride that they show in their project, in their work. I think for me, I'm not expecting them to show up every single day. I'm expecting them to make meaningful time to have meaningful and constructive discussions with the community. And that doesn't mean you buzz in and you have a random conversation and you leave. It means we go back to that notion of once a week, a scheduled time, a scheduled place, once a month, whatever the cadence is, the community needs to know where do I need to be and when so that I can have an impact on this project, so that I can talk with the developers and share my ideas and thoughts. Right now, that just doesn't exist. And that's what I'm hoping to see, change drastically in 22. All right, I love what we got here. I think this is a great place to be. I assume that when I post this, there will be some responses and reactions from the community. What I'm hoping is, I've tried to stay general enough where nobody's going to look at this and we're not like saying, "Hey, get rid of pets." Like there's nothing polarizing here. We're saying we are looking for some modifications or some enhancements to what's already there versus we want you to change this. So hopefully when I share this, I'll share this in its existing state as a PDF in the next couple of hours in the general chat of Discord. I'll probably also see if I can post it in Telegram. I never ever go into Telegram. It's just it's a mess and a cluster. But maybe if I post it or somebody else can share it there. And then what I'll ask is for the community to send back additional ideas. What are we missing from this document that I will supplement? And then I'll take that and we'll ship that over to the dev team via DM. Probably also just post it in public and tag them. So there's no way that it can be missed. Drip, is there any way to see the total number of users and total number of active users in the game as a whole? Yeah, I believe so. I know Lenny was able to do that on the Tron side. I think it's possible. Do I personally know how to do it? No. And that was one of the problems. Oh, you know what? That's reminds me. Improve reporting to external outlets so that in-game volume and activity is represented accurately. That's a big issue. Oh, wow. Sand's been around since 2011. Wow. Z, we definitely need that in-game chat. I think that could be the easiest and most impactful change they could make. Great. Make a big difference. I love, like, if we think about the, like, literally, Pulse, I was just going to say that. If you think of, I'll go back to RuneScape, that old interface where you walk up to a player and you open it and you say, oh, here's what your stuff is that I want, and here's what I'm going to give you. That exact same concept could be true there. One thing I would say also, so there's actually two things. So the first being, trying to end this on a positive note, if we look at Axie's probably the gold standard right now, just based off of the general awareness of the brand, the size of the game, the volume, the activity. Axie did not, they haven't been blowing up for years. They kind of came out of nowhere, right? They had a user base of around, 10,000? And within a year, it was up over 1 million. So I don't want us to forget that type of growth is certainly possible. And it's not like Axie just struck gold and was so perfect that everybody embraced it. They've been behind on their roadmap. They certainly have their own issues and challenges that they've been working through and continue to work through. And by no means are they perfect, but they have a highly engaged and passionate community. They've unlocked this massive humanitarian opportunity with their scholar model, and the game has grown steadily. But they are also right now the exact same thing that allowed them to have meteoric growth and get to where they are today is also the thing that's going to prevent them from continuing to grow. And that's why I say when it comes to MCP, I will stand on this hill until the day that I die. I never ever ever want to see MCP blow up overnight. I want to see MCP grow gradually and sustainably because Axie's growth, in my opinion, came from a whole bunch of scholars being able to come in. And over time, they had enough demand coming in to offset the sell pressure that scholars were having on SLP. If MCP is not careful, the same exact thing will happen with World or with Mega if we are too dependent on one portion of our ecosystem. That sell pressure will become insurmountable, and you're always going to have downward pressure. We see it with Mega. The great thing about Mega is that it can easily jump because of the supply. When it comes to World, we can't have that happen. They have to find a way before Mega World rolls out any scholarship model. They have to find a meaningful burn for World to be integrated up front. It could be the concept of like, if citizens are going to become avatars, you actually have to place a citizen in a hotel in some kind of building for a period of time and spend a whole bunch of World to convert them from a citizen to an avatar so that they can be used. There's a bunch of stuff that they do have to do in order to ensure that any growth that they have is responsible and sustainable and not just a temporary pump to then ultimately have a whole bunch of disappointment when people start taking tons and tons of profit consistently. Like it's not too much. It's never too much. I would always encourage you to share your ideas. I would be mindful that the Discord is not always the most welcoming of ideas, typically because what happens is if your idea runs even the slightest risk of encroaching or disrupting the value of something that a person owns, they're naturally going to lash out and say, no, don't ever do that. Even though when all is said and done, your idea and this person's perspective matter nothing because at the end of the day, only MCP can decide what they're going to do and what works. But you're always welcome to share your ideas here. Please feel free, like toss them out in general chat or in wherever. I'll add them. You're welcome to DM me as well. I really have not been really good about keeping up with my DMs lately, so just keep that in mind. But I love all the ideas you had today. I'm so glad that you're in the community, and I'm so glad that you're speaking up and asking these questions and sharing these ideas. The characters have always been ugly. They basically sold. Yeah, yeah. But it shows. It shows that with the right mix of certain things, a game can take off. But the game has to have enough substance besides just hype and FOMO. And that's why I'm honest. I'm so glad that MSP hasn't started marketing, because if they were marketing right now, it would be based off of building hype and FOMO, and I don't think that's what this game or community is about. But what's going to happen is when they do turn that marketing on and they have the infrastructure in place to support their community and onboard players, we're not going to run into those same issues that other games do because it's not as one-dimensional as other games. Paul's passively aggressively saying that he agrees about my my lack of DM responsiveness. That's fair. I do deserve that. All right, so let's call it here. I'm gonna go and do some stuff, and then enjoy a day off tomorrow. I'm going to take this document exactly as it is, and I'm gonna save it as a PDF, post it in the Discord. I'll leave that there before I go to do my thing today. And then tag me in your responses. The more you tag me, the better, because then I won't miss anything. What are your ideas? What do you want to see added? all that good stuff. Don't get caught up on the specifics. It's more about what are some of the general things that we really want to make sure MCP understands from our perspective. And then we're going to come back on Saturday. I don't know what we're talking about yet. I actually almost wonder if there's an option for us to have like a building. I like where Eric's been going with like the whole building the megaverse concept. So maybe we take one session next weekend to really spend more time talking about what we want world to be and what we want that gameplay and experience to be like. And then the other day, we actually might have a district preview of District 239, depending on how that auction goes. So for timing, so it's probably that building a little bit more about Mega World and MCP gameplay with World, and then District 239 overview is most likely the agenda for this coming weekend. Oh, and Drip says they posted to Medium. Drip, you got the Actually, I don't. You don't have to post. I'll find it right over here. Blog. We're did they post? Last thing I see from MCP on Medium is that can't be right. February 17th, 2021. No, that's not right. They did a ton of stuff since then. You have a link? Drip, send me if you got a link, send it to me via DM. I'll because I think the link's gonna get blocked in chat. Send it to me via DM and I will post it here in chat so we can all share it. Yeah, it's gonna block it. Shoot it over to me on Discord DM. And I'll drop it in here. I mean, I am fairly confident. I am fairly confident that they do watch these videos and playbacks. So that's good. They have even joined. And you know what? Maybe that's it too. Maybe, you know, part of this can be we have this stream up here. We have an audience. Like, you guys have been 20 and 30 strong all day long today. MCP doesn't even need to set up their own thing. Like, just join us here. Join us. That's all we have to do. Grip, I don't know what that means. I'm a poet on Discord. Don't know how on Twitch. There we go. Gotcha. Yeah, Drip, but when I go there, I don't see what's the actual new article. Do you have the link to the article? I'm not seeing anything new from them. But what's weird is when I go there, the latest post that I see is from February of last year, which just isn't right because they put out like all the new chapters and stuff like that for Mega World, so I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, so you see it's the chapters too. I don't know. We'll see. All right, everyone. Let's call it here. I hope that I can have the great honor and distinction of having you join me again next weekend. We can pick this conversation up where we left off and keep the constructive ideas coming. Please, as always, do whatever you can in the Discord. Keep it positive, keep it constructive. When somebody has a complaint, completely fine. Like, let's just motivate people to say, hey, share your ideas, but like literally come to this chat and share your ideas, because we can take those criticisms, we can workshop them, we can identify what the source is, and as a community, we can come up with a proposed solution that we can in turn share back with MCP. So, love you all. Thank you so much for continuing to support the project, the community, myself. This is, trust me, I'm getting no energy and motivation from the MCP team right now. The thing that keeps me coming back every single weekend to have these conversations are you guys. So my call to action on MCP is come and feed the fire, give us fuel, give us that gasoline so we can keep going, help us focus our attention and ideation. And then for everybody else here, let's just keep doing what we're doing. This game is amazing. The community is amazing. All we have to do is just kind of help us all stay focused and keep those great ideas coming. So thank you all so much. Have a wonderful Sunday. Bill Belichick, if you're watching, man, yeah, it's not the 1950s anymore. You got to build a team that can do more than run the football. Okay? And that's it. Love you all. Bye.